talk to you today about something that's near and dear to my heart, and it's gluten. And a lot of people think, gluten-free is this expensive fad that okay, I have to be gluten-free because it's gonna make me lose weight, or they really just don't know why they're avoiding gluten in the first place. So I wanna talk about, my top 3 reasons to avoid gluten. Just because you don't have digestive problems doesn't mean that you don't have a gluten intolerance or that you don't have an issue with gluten, because a lot of people think it's just related to bloating or gas or constipation or diarrhea. And while it is related to all those things, it's also related to so many other problems like fatigue and joint pain and brain fog and depression, anxiety. These are a lot of the things that are created by a gluten intolerance, an undiagnosed problem with gluten. And the problem is most people today want a true diagnosis with gluten. They want to know, okay, is this test gonna show me that I'm positively affected by gluten or negatively affected by gluten? And the answer is no. There is not a great test out there, especially in conventional medicine. A lot of people go the route of getting a biopsy done, and when they test negative for something like celiac disease, they think, okay, well, I don't have a problem with gluten. And that's not a lot of the times positive. It's basically, you get a lot of false negatives when you go for testing with gluten intolerance. And take it from me, because 13, 14 years ago, I had a lot of medical issues, and I spent thousands of dollars on testing, genetic testing, stool testing, the biopsy, and I also had a lot of arguments with gastroenterologists about this gluten topic. And this was when kashi was just becoming really big. And I had this one gastroenterologist talk to me and say, Nicole, it's not possible. You are negative. You don't have any problem with gluten. Eat all the gluten you want. And I knew deep down inside that there was a problem, but I couldn't get the proof. So in this video training that I did, I'm going to talk to you about different tests that you can get and what to look for. But first, I want to talk to you about 3 top reasons why to avoid gluten, because a lot of people think it's not for them or they don't have to. And so the first reason is because gluten causes leaky gut. And a lot of people too, they think this leaky gut is just some made up word, right? But it's not. It's in medical journals as gut permeability, and it's all over the place. And gluten is one of the main reasons why we have leaky gut or gut permeability. If you think of our intestinal lining like this brick wall where all these little cells have to be lined up like this, gluten causes spaces. So it's it creates this picket fence where it should be a brick wall. So what happens with this picket fence is that all of these particles start to seep through into our body, and we can develop some symptoms of autoimmune conditions. We can develop, it can go to the brain, creating anxiety and depression. It can go to other tissues, creating damage. And so this break in these tight junctions is really a problem. And we're finding out gluten now is one of the main factors in that. So number 2 is that gluten triggers inflammation. And for a lot of you guys that have pain, you think, okay, inflammation's related to pain. But inflammation is related to everything, that from diabetes to joint pain to issues with the joints, ligaments, or even just Alzheimer's. They're calling, type 3 diabetes inflammation-based disease that is basically leads to Alzheimer's disease. So this is really important. Gluten has been shown to create inflammation in the body. And with all the stuff out there that we have, the stress, the sugar, all these things that also create inflammation, gluten is definitely one of the top ones, so it can be avoided. So The third and final reason why we should avoid wheat and gluten is because gluten makes you fat. And I hate making blanket statements like that, but gluten has been shown to, because it's such a high lectin food, it creates this insulin resistance, which causes us to store more fat in our body. And so this slows down our metabolism, it increases our hunger. So if you are really hungry all the time, or you feel like you just can't lose weight, a good book to read would be Wheat Belly by Dr. Williams and Dr. Davis. And he's really great at explaining why gluten can make you fat and keep you fat, or overweight. So that's my third and final reason. And I really want to invite you guys to watch this gluten training that I created, and it's everything you need to know about gluten. And I'll tell you my personal story. I'll tell you, different things about what's going on with the wheat in our country nowadays, and a lot of different things about a lot more too, and things that you wouldn't normally think about. Gluten's not just a fad, but there's so much that you should really know about. And if not for you, for friends and family. So share this video if you found it helpful. And the link that you want to go to is livingfresh.org/getmeglutenfree. And I would be happy to help you out with that. And so I hope you guys have a great day. If you have any questions, or if you have any issues with gluten that you know of, please post it in the comments. I always love to hear from my community and my friends. And like I said, this is really near and dear to my heart because it's something that I've been dealing with. I've been gluten-free for about 14 years now, and it's not easy, but in order to give it up completely, we want to be educated, and we want to know, what it is about this gluten that is so wrong, or so, such a bad thing. So definitely check out the link, and I'll see you next week. Have a great weekend.